Thank you everyone for joining us. What we usually do is that we focus the groups on Kickstarter and learning about Kickstarter and supporting each other. And we usually begin by sharing a little bit of an update of how we're doing. Today is a unique session because, except for an update, we're also going to focus on Canva. And we're going to have a little bit of a kind of live demonstration Q&A as to how to use Canva. And I'm very excited about that. My name is John. I will begin by giving some sort of an update, and then we'll go one by one. If this is your first time here, please introduce yourself. And yeah, just very excited to have all of you. So, um, as to myself, I had a really exciting, busy week. And I was supposed to give us a Gantt. Um, I committed to kind of planning 2026. I haven't gotten to it. So I hope that the discomfort that I'm feeling right now will push me for next week to be a little bit more on my A game. Um, my news is that I'm happy that it's sunny today because it's been kind of gloomy. And yeah, excited about getting the files printed for the previous Kickstarter, the middle grade project, delivered so that I can continue with my next Kickstarter. So that's me. I think next is Destiny and then Cody. Go ahead, Destiny.
Oh, cool. I'm next. Okay, so I've been doing well. Me and Bernadette's project, Bernadette's Kickstarter has also been doing well. She's still deciding to deal with my shenanigans even after she saw me reading her book in 4K. So that's amazing. And I've been feeling very motivated to actually get stuff done and try new things lately, which is amazing progress for me mental health wise.
Well done. Well done. Very inspiring. Thank you, Destiny. Next is Cody. And after Cody, we'll go with Christina. And we'll leave Adrienne to the end just so you can kind of get a sense of what people share. Okay. So next is Cody and then Christina.
Thanks, John, and hi everyone. I'm a science fiction author, Adrian, and my third book came out middle of October, so it's been an exciting time for me. Um, I'm preparing for two events. I've got like a book launch event at a local bookstore here Saturday after Thanksgiving, and then another WeHo Reads on December 3rd. So both of those are kind of what I'm focused on right now. I am still, you'll all not be surprised to learn that I'm still debating what to do about the cover for my next Kickstarter because the cover designer I met at Author Nation, I looked into his pricing, and it's still kind of it's a lot. So I'm playing around with the idea of like trying to cobble something together with like a friend who's a graphic designer and myself who has some skills, and maybe that's like going to be a better option. But yeah, so still undetermined how I'm going to proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Cody. Next is Christina and then Corey.
Well, I am thrilled to report that I revamped my website myself with the help of ChatGPT 5, and I really like it. It was like I hated Squarespace 7.1, um, and I was able to get it really to look pretty clean, and it's good to go. Um, Cody, I there was a person who did a Kickstarter. She showed her book on one of those main Kickstarter, led by Oriana, and her book cover was really great. It's from Get Covers, and they're incredibly inexpensive. So I'm using them now to do a short story for my reader magnet. So a cover. I'll let you know how that goes. Vicky and I met yesterday to talk about our pre-launch we're getting our book up on Amazon and D2D. Um, on the 12th of December is when we're aiming to go live. So we're doing keywords and all that kind of stuff. And now we're thinking of also selling direct, which we've never done before. So if we have time, I'd love to hear from anybody who sells direct on their website. Um, but yeah, it was a productive week. So yeah, happy
Great.
about that.
Thank you so much. And now Corey and then Rachel.
Hi, everybody. I have a dog friend joining me today who does not quite understand Zoom etiquette, so we're having a little conversation about that. But now I have cleared a space, a comfortable space for dog friend right next to me, so everything should be fine. Um, as far as Kickstarter goes, I've started sending out packages, my first round of shipments for all of my books. I have all of this madness behind me that needs to be shipped out and packaged up and organized and taken care of. So that's going to be my goal for the next couple of weeks is getting that all packaged up and shipped out and done.
Great. Very inspiring and looks like a lot of good work. Next is Rachel and then Teresa.
Hey everybody. I'm having a week where the last 2 weeks I've gotten a lot done. But I kind of hit the wall today where I'm feeling like so beyond burned out from my day job, that I'm just like kind of hanging on by my fingernails. And unfortunately, I don't have a day off until a week from tomorrow. So I am just doing the best I can right now. Kickstarter wise, things are going fantastic. I officially hit the mark of 20 backers today, which is really awesome. And so and that like is a beautiful spark of joy. I'm just like trying to manage my energy because like I'm just like my energy and my motivation have been flagging. Yeah. So what else? Yeah, I've just been thinking about like what other cool things can I create for momentum like in the middle. I'm in that weird middle, soggy middle place where it's like there's 2 weeks left and I haven't hit what I made the initial next stretch goal to be. But we'll see. I don't know. I've just been kind of like brainstorming ideas around that. So yeah, but I'm really happy to be here and just so happy to be with all of you because this is such an amazing community. So.
Yeah, and we love having you here. And again, congratulations on projects we love. So,
Yes, thank
so
you. Thank you.
inspiring. So inspiring. Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Rachel. Next is Teresa, and after Teresa, we'll have Bernadette.
By the way, Rachel, I finished reading the prequel short story last night. I love it so much. And at Reader Nation, she had a print copy as well as one you could download. So she signed one for me and then also for my friend Heidi, who is really into dragons. And so I gave her copy on Wednesday, and she was so thrilled. So yay! So thank you for that. I did finish my short story, and I sent it all to all my backers, so that's done. And I've decided I'm not going to do any. I was thinking about doing a Kickstarter before the end of the year, even though I know end of the year stuff. I decided I'm not going to do it because I was going to weigh the pros and cons of which to start next. So what I did instead is today I went ahead and I got the pre-launch page for the nonfiction book, which is Simple Self-Publishing, and that's approved. So now I have two pre-launch pages up, and I'm just going to see which one has more followers, and that's the one I'm going to go with first. So, I mean, it's kind of, I've already got 21 on one of them, but Simple Self-Publishing has a totally different audience. So I'll just see. But I'm planning on launching in January for one, and then probably in March for the other.
Great, 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 great. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much. Next is Bernadette and then Adrienne.
I'm not really sure exactly what we're doing. I had to go out and come in.
Yeah, we're just sharing update how we're doing and what we've been up to over the past week.
Okay. Not sure if Destiny shared this information or not, but we do have the pre-launch up. I have all of my edits completed as intended. I will be getting those put on Amazon no later than the 1st. for my first two zombie series books. And then we focus on the Beauty and the Beast ones of Beastly Beauty. Definitely not kids' books. And um, so I'm still trying to get the video done for the actual Kickstarter launch. My friend who does that she's been very sick. Um, so just waiting on her. Other than that, we got a Facebook author page created. Destiny, did you happen to share that?
Was I supposed to?
Well, it would
That's
have been
no.
nice, but if you didn't, I'm just not in it right now, so that's why I was asking if you had already. We'll share that at some point during the meeting. Looks like Destiny's working on it right now. Um, and so we're doing that, and I'm looking into trying to create a web page for my work. Um, and we're moving forward with trying to figure out how to maybe get a small business up and running to offer our writing, editing, and marketing services to people. I'm also going to use it to get back into my journalism, and I'll have a page on that web page for my articles and stuff.
Well done. Well done. Great, great, great. Next is Adrienne. And if Zachary, you'd like to share, if you can turn your video on. So if you can introduce yourself, and the mic is yours.
Me or
Yeah.
Zachary? Me?
Yeah,
Okay.
Adrienne.
Yeah, sorry. I feel like I've Zoom bombed. My name is Adrienne Cobb. I write as Colette Clark. These are my books right here. I have about 20. I haven't done a Kickstarter yet, but I have backed a few, and I just learned about it, I think maybe the year before last. So I do want to do one in 2026. I have an idea of what I want to do, an illustrated version of one of my books, but I know everyone says start, with a small campaign, and the one I want to do is not grand, but it's probably bigger than I should do, but I want to see if I can do it. Anyway, that's why I'm here. I mean, I've learned as much as I can, so I feel like I'm okay to be in this group because I know a lot about. I've been to every webinar and read every book, so hopefully I can be some help. But I'm just here to learn, so and support. So yeah.
Always have the feeling that I Zoom bomb. So thank you so much for Zoom bombing. You're not bombing us, and it's great to have you. Um, so from what I see, is this your books? So you're on mute?
Yeah, those are my books. Those are my books.
Yay, that's
Yeah.
very
I
impressive.
write historical mystery. Yeah.
That's very impressive. Great. I'm going to share the link in the chat. And where are you located again?
I'm in Brooklyn, New York.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'd love to see you every week. We hold each other accountable and we get things done.
Thanks.
Thank you, Adrienne. Zachary, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody. Sorry, my camera's not working. This is not my laptop. I am borrowing it. Um, I'm very excited to be here. I met some of you, like Teresa, at Author Nation. I have successfully done one Kickstarter, and I think that's how I'm going to launch my books moving forward, and maybe go back and do some special editions of some back catalog stuff. And yeah, I'm currently putting together a campaign in all my graphics and such, and looking to launch in January is the plan.
Great. And it was a YA paranormal romance. Is that correct, Zachary?
No, that was yes, that's the campaign that funded. That was my
Great.
previous campaign last year that did super well. I was
Yeah,
very
it looks incredible. Looks so fun. Great
Thank you.
work.
Yeah, it was a big learning experience. I did like Russell Nolte's book, and then there's an author named Fleur de Villani who does tons of Kickstarters, and she kind of took me under her wing as a mentor and shared her checklist and stuff.
Wow. That's incredible. And tell us about the next book and what your vision is and the dates.
Yeah, so the next book is going to be my first urban fantasy. I keep saying adult urban fantasy, but that's just because I have written YA before, but it's not steamy or spicy, just urban fantasy. Cozy, called Evil Eye and Pizza Pie, about a Chicago pizzeria that is a sanctuary for magical beings. So I'm really trying to work on getting some thematic graphics that say urban fantasy with like a cityscape and color wise and stuff, but also brand it a lot around the restaurant and pizza. My pre-launch page is not up yet, Teresa. I'm getting some character art done right now, and then I have a couple of more photos that I need to get of some physical rewards that I do have. I just have to get around to doing videos and photos of that. But I'm looking to run. I wanted to say I was going to do that first Tuesday in January through the end of January, I believe was my plan. So what's that? The 6th through the 31st. And then actually, and the book is done. It's physically done. I've actually already had a first printing. Um, and then actually properly release it in April because I feel like since it's done, I should be able to get most, if not all, rewards out in February.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Zachary. It's great to have you here. Um, all right, you guys. So today is an exciting day because we're gonna have a mini masterclass by our incredible artists, Corey and Teresa. We'll be sharing screen and they're like smiling, woo, like woo, incredible artists. You guys, when it comes to Kickstarter, we will have to have some knowledge of generating images because there are so many images that one has to generate, and even if you rely heavily on a graphic design person, it's so useful to have this tool in your toolkit, and it can be really intimidating and counterintuitive. So I would love for myself and for others to get some hands-on experience. So Corey and Teresa, the mic is yours and you can share your screen. We didn't ask you to prepare anything, but if you could just like kind of show us a little bit of the backstage of how you operate on Canva.
You want to go
Sure.
first, Corey? Okay.
Yeah, I can do that. So just to begin with, I am not a Canva expert or a graphic design expert. I'm just a person who has been using this program for like the last 2 years and, I've screwed around with it a bunch of times, figured out a bunch of stuff. As John was saying, I think it's super important to be able to have some basic skills in either Canva or BookBrush. You want one or the other. And in order to create images, not only for Kickstarter, but for your mailing list, for your website, for social media, for all kinds of things. So you really just need to have this is a skill that you should look into. Canva has a huge library of videos, like how-to videos on how to do things, and that's a great resource for learning how to do something specific, or if you're getting in there and you're screwing around and you can't figure out how to do something. They also have a chat bot, and I've always found that whenever I run into a problem with Canva, I can just Google like, why can't I do this thing in Canva? And I'll find a bunch of YouTube videos or blogs or whatever AI generated responses that tell me how to do whatever it is that I need to do. So I think that, it seems like a lot at first, but honestly, like there's so much information that's available for you to learn how to do it on your own and get even better than I am. So, I figured I would start by just kind of like going through creating the basic Kickstarter images. Can you all see can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I have Canva Pro, and in Canva Pro, or if you don't have Canva Pro, the free version allows you to use any of the like whatever you find in here that doesn't have a crown on it. So like these four images right here would be something that you could use without Canva Pro, but these images here are ones that you would have to have Canva Pro to use. I don't pay any attention to that anymore because I have Canva Pro, so it doesn't matter to me. But if you wanted to mess around with it for a couple of weeks before you figured out, before you know, committed to paying for it, then that's a good way to um, then that's how the images that you're going to look for are the ones without the crowns on them. I think Canva Pro is worth it. It's like 120 bucks a year. That's 10 bucks a month. That's like not a lot to have essentially access to any graphic design program or to the basic graphic design for all the things that you're going to need, especially when you compare it to hiring somebody to do all this stuff. Okay. So for I'm actually going to start with this. I like to create a brand kit for before I start a Kickstarter. Can you guys see my Word document right now? Or are you still seeing my Canvas screen?
We didn't see your Word document.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is just a basic brand kit that I'm going to be sort of filling out as I move forward. This is the, you know, the title of my next Kickstarter. These are the dimensions that you need for the main images, and I pulled these out of Kickstarter and also out of BookBrush. I'm not going to use BookBrush today, but BookBrush does have some really useful features for Kickstarter, and one of those things is that they like preset images for you or image sizes for you for Kickstarter. I have some description terms here, and these are just sort of like terms that I want to keep in mind for as I'm creating my images. Everything that I create should have should you know, have these elements involved in it. And that's something I can add to or change as things go on. Theme colors, same thing. This is just sort of like my early ideas of what I want my theme colors to be. That may change as time goes on, as I find images or I find things that work better. And then for fonts, you know, my primary, my secondary, and my tertiary, just so I have a couple of different options for fonts for like large fonts, smallest font, if I need to go all the way down to my smallest font. So I would just find it helpful to have that information. So now I'm going to go over to Canva. Okay, can you all see my Canva again? Okay, cool. All right, so this is the size for like the title images. So this is for like things like the story, the tiers, the stretch goals as you go through the story of your Kickstarter, right? Like this, the smaller sort of title images as you go down. This is the size for that. I like to pick a single background that I'm going to use for pretty much everything. And I like that background to be fairly neutral, but not blank, right? I don't want it to be a single color. I want it to have some texture, and I want it to have some texture and some variety to it, but not too much, right? So, like, for example, one might think that like this might make a cool background for like a Western set Kickstarter or something, just because it's, you know, it's got this beautiful color and it's really nice. But once you start putting text and other stuff on top of this, it's going to look really busy. So you want something that's going to be sort of pulled back, but still has some visual interest to it. So something like this might work better. This like brown leather. I'm thinking of like a cowboy Kickstarter, right? In terms of these two, comparison of these two images. Something like this brown leather might work better. You might want to, and sorry, just to go back, let me start that again. You click on an image and it appears here in the middle of your Canvas screen, right? If you want to make it bigger, you can pull out on these corners right here, and that'll expand the image. You can also move it around back and forth. You can turn it the direction that you want by turning this little thing here, and it gives you a degrees, so you can figure out where you want it to be. And then you also have this flip thing right here, which allows you to flip the image vertically and horizontally. So those are all really helpful ways that you're going to be moving things around in Canva. Am I going too fast? Am I getting too crazy?
So
Any
you're
questions?
perfect, perfect.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
one question. Corey, how did you
Yes.
even get to the blank template? That one. Where did you start when you
That
first?
is a great question. Okay, so let's go back to, so I hit this three little thing here in the button that kind of opens your menu, and I go to create. Now it'll pop up. It wants me to create something using one of their templates, but that's not what I want to use. I want to do a custom size. And in this case, the custom size that I want for this section header is 680 pixels by 170 pixels. Does that make sense? Yes, I'm assuming that people are nodding at me. Okay. There are also a ton of different templates that you can use for all kinds of things. So I'll often use just like something that says Instagram post if I just need like a square, or if I need a rectangular image, I'll just use like Facebook cover image or whatever, just one of the templates that they already have in there that I can then modify and play with, or just start with a blank version of that kind of post. But because size is so much more important here, I usually do it custom. And then in a minute, go ahead, Teresa. What
Just
are you
want
gonna
to
say?
point out that when you are making a custom size, you can also choose by inches. So I do my covers and I use Canva, but if you put the inch, you have to change inch to it from PX to IN first.
Mhm.
And then put the size in, because if you put 10 in its pixels and then you change it to inches, it's going to be like 0.000000001 inch or whatever it is. So that's
Mhm.
just another, you can size by inch as well if you want to. So that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like in the Kickstarter, it'll tell you that your image is going to be like 6 by 9. So you could just do 6 by 9 in inches and it'll give you the correct size as well. So they're kind of interchangeable and you can toggle them back and forth. Okay. So as you can see, there's a bunch of things here on the side. Canva has a ton of AI features. I have absolutely no idea which ones are pro and which are not. It might say on here somewhere, but I don't, some of them I use, some of them I don't. Um, Here's a design feature where you can describe your ideal design and see what it comes up with. Who knows? Who knows what it's going to come up with? I'm not going to do that today. We're just going to go through this kind of stuff. So I, all of the pretty much everything that you are going to look for is going to be here under elements. So you can search for anything here. You could search for, let's just search for dragon. It's going to come up with all these graphics, all of these photos, all of these videos, audio, whatever. So then you can sort of search through what you're going to look for. The better search terms you have here, the better your results are going to be. So like for this Kickstarter, I'm looking for like urban, luxury, glittery, fancy, whatever. So I'm gonna start with black leather background. Okay. I want to see what my options are here. And you can see that like something like this, go away, Black Friday sale. Something like this has more texture than just simply having a black background. And that creates more visual interest. But this isn't so overwhelming that it's going to be distracting from whatever you put on top. However, I don't think black is really what I want for this because I use dark mode on my phone. I tend to find when people have, a lot of black images on their phone, it has a tendency, it can blur into the background. I use dark mode on my computer as well. So I think I might go instead with gray leather background. Okay. These are okay. And this is a good way to sort of get ideas, right? Like you could put gray leather background and then think to yourself like, well, actually this looks kind of cool. and just play with it and see what you think. I think this is probably too busy for a background, but just it's a good opportunity to just get in there and try things out. Just click on things. Just click on things and see how they look and then drop them back out again. All right, so for the sake of moving forward, I'm going to pick. Well, now I'm like actually trying to pick. I am just going to go with. I'm going to go with this one. This isn't necessary. Well, I don't actually have to make this in this very moment right now. All right. And now when I clicked on that, it gives me a bunch of magic recommendations, which it thinks are like things that might be similar to that. So if this is close, but not quite what you want, then like maybe go in here and be like, oh, maybe this like brown looks better. For my last one, I used cream satin as my cue for the thing that I was looking for my background. I think velvet is usually nice too for like a textured background that gives you a little bit of pop. Um, okay. As I said, I don't like this one. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to go with this one just to get it on the board. Okay. All right. So let's say I've decided that I like this background well enough to move forward. Now I'm going to add some text. So you have elements and then text. You go add a text box. It's going to start here real slow. It's also going to start, or it's real small. It's also going to start in Canvas Sans, which is their basic format. So I'm just going to put the story, but that's obviously not a cool enough font for this. So I want it much bigger. I can either increase font size by clicking here at the top, or I can click here on the edge the same way you would to change the size of a picture, okay, to drag everything out. You can also have multiple font sizes within a text box. So if you wanted it to say, if I wanted it to have in small text at the top, Billionaire Brotherhood, and then above it, the story, I could do that all in one text box. But it's probably easier to do it in two text boxes just so that you can kind of modify things as you go. All right, so I don't like this font. So
Right, while you're
I
in
hit.
text, something else that you can do is you can change the text spacing.
Yes,
And
yes.
you can change the leading. So
Yeah. What was the second part you said, Teresa?
Both the leading, so the kerning and the leading, so you can change the spacing, how close the letters are together, horizontally, and then how the distance of the pair from line to line. And that's both in that same area. So
I'd never heard that term before, leading. That's really interesting. That's good. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, so that's right here where you've got this text thing with an arrow beneath it that sort of indicates that text can move. And it gives you letter spacing, so you can stretch that out. And then line spacing, which isn't going to show us anything right now, but you can make those the distance between each line bigger and smaller, which is very helpful. I'll talk about some of these other features up here in a minute. So again, I'm looking for elegant, wealthy, glittery, that sort of thing. So to me, that says, where am I? Here I am. Okay, so you click here in this font box here, and it opens all of their fonts. There are 10 billion fonts in Canva, like more than you could ever possibly need. And they sort of separate them into categories here, like handwriting, corporate, display. You can create a brand kit so that you've got all your fonts right here when you need them. There's also this recently used section that shows you fonts that you tend to like or that you've used in the past. So I like this Bebas Neue font. I feel like it looks really clean and easy to read. And it's also, I don't know, there's something about it looks, and it's like an all capitals font, which I feel like has a nice like sort of boldness to it. You can also, of course, bold the font. Not all of them can be bolded, but you can bold the font in some cases. I don't know that this is the primary font that I want for this, though. I feel like I want something a little bit fancier, a little bit more sort of flowy. I don't know that this is necessarily the choice I'm going to go with, but I'm just going to put this in here for now. Okay, so at that point, I can now change the color. So I go up here to text color, and here are all my options. And there's actually far more options than this. So you've got your color palette, which is like colors that you've used in the past. I've got a bunch of, colors sort of built in here. The photo colors, so you can pull directly from the photo of whatever it is that you might have uploaded here. The default solid colors, and then there's a see all, default gradient colors, and then there's a see all. So I want this to stand out. So I'm going to use this yellow. No, I'm not. I'm not going to use that yellow. I don't like that yellow. So
Love the font though. I'm thinking out loud as to time. Maybe we can see how we maybe do 5 more minutes, and then we'll
yeah.
give Teresa for 5 minutes, and then we'll begin wrapping this section of today. But this is
Okay.
very useful.
Okay, great. All right, so
I also wonder if anyone has questions or things that you got stuck with in Canva. I think that can also lead us.
Okay, any questions right now? Okay. All right. You can also put effects on this. So you can click up here in effects and it'll give you a bunch of options for different things you can do. And again, you can mess around with it. And I think this neon can sometimes look good. I'm not sure how good it looks there. You can also intensify it. You can change it. You can adjust it a little bit here. Yeah, you have a bunch of different options that all have little sliders that you can scale, which is nice. I'm going to put it in this neon for now. And then there's one other thing that I want to show you, just as far as what I consider to be like sort of the basic things for a title image. The other thing I want to have is a corner piece. I feel like it puts a nice frame on things. That's not what I want. I think it just gives it a nice finish. Stop it. Okay, here's what I want. I want it in graphics. I just think it gives it a nice finish to put something in the corners that makes it look a little bit more complete. So I'm just choosing this one for now, and I'm going to put one in each 4 corners. So I hit duplicate. So I know that it's going to be the same size. I move it into place. And then I'm going to flip it horizontally so it's in position the way that I want it to be. And do the same thing here. And I'm going to flip that one until I get it where I want it to be. Butler, no thank you. This one. And flip that horizontally as well. And you could play with this, you could always change that, but I just feel like this, having a little bit of a frame on it makes everything look a little bit more professional. So once you've established this kind of basic thing, you can use this as a template for where you're going to go going forward. So this is just the last thing I want to show you. You can hit resize up here in the corner, and you can give it a custom size. Now, I want to use this same background and font and everything for one of my reward images. And that's going to be, I have this written down, remember, so this is going to be 600 by 417. I can copy and resize, and it'll take a minute. And then it'll open, and it's in the right size. And I may need to do some adjustment, obviously, to get it to the point where it looks right. But that's just an easy way to sort of like create and duplicate additional images. Does that all make sense?
Not only does it make sense, it actually shows how you are able to create such beautiful banners always.
Mm.
And the frame concept really makes sense. So well done. I never Never thought about bringing one element and then flipping it and flipping it. Makes so much sense, but I never thought about it. So this is so useful.
Yeah. It's a great way to save yourself the trouble of having to resize everything a billion times, is figure out what size you want it to be and then just duplicate it and duplicate it and duplicate it. And one last thing I want to show you, because I just figured this out recently and it's been super helpful to me. There's this position button here, and then you can go to the layers, and this lets you change the layers, which might not be a big deal here, but like I can move that
Oh
up
my
here,
God.
and then it's on the top of everything instead of previously what I had been doing is you can go here and you can hit layer and then bring forward or whatever. I just figured out that this was an option. So I found that to be super, super helpful. But I guess that's it. Does anybody have any questions? Anything that went too fast on? Anything that doesn't make sense?
This is super useful. We do have let's give Teresa the presentation. This has been super useful. And while we're switching, I wonder about book mock-ups covers. If anyone has any experience with that, maybe we'll have to leave that for next week, but that's a great question. And also the question about creating GIFs. And GIFs are repetitive. They kind of go in a cycle. I believe they have to. But if anyone has any experience with the duration or whether a GIF can pause, I think that would be an interesting thing to look into. I think Bernadette and Zachary, that echoes your questions. If there's any other question, Rachel, that you'd like to ask, please go ahead. Or to comment or anything. But yeah, Teresa, we're now seeing your screen and the mic is all yours. And thank you, Corey.
Okay, and I actually turned it on. So I'll just kind of piggyback on some like the position and layers comments. So one of the elements that I did for these are my rewards graphics. And normally what I would do is like I create one and then you can duplicate the page so you're not having to recreate it every single time. So there's a little plus over here, duplicate page, and that'll just create another one and then you can play with that. But once you've duplicated it, it's helpful to put a page title in. So ebook reward. And that way when you download just one image at a time, then it'll have that as the file name instead of the Kickstarter rewards graphics. Something else that I was able to do, I'm going to go to, if I can get to wanted to get to another window and I don't know if I can. There it goes. Okay. So this is the book cover. Now the image I use, these birds are actually, you can see this is actually part of the image. But I wanted to play around with having some in front of the text.
Those birds in front of the text is stunning.
And then some behind. And then if you see down here, the bush covers up a little bit of the C in my name. So what I did was I create Teresa L was one text box, and then Carter was another text box, and those got a little. They're not aligned now, so I can go to position and then I can do bottom and that lines those up. But what I did, I had two different ones, so then I could put the Carter as a layer behind the bush. So it's Carter and then the bush and then Teresa L. So Teresa L is in front of it and Carter's behind it. So that way you can add some depth to your image as well. Now the way I got the birds out is I took the image, and you can go to edit, and this is something I showed Christina, and it's really super cool. And let's see, I edit. Is it going to work? For some reason, it's not. Oh, there we go. Okay, and then you can go to this Magic Studio, and if you click over, you can do Magic Grab, and that'll open up the background image. And just click, and then you can click and see how it highlights that. Grab. And when you do this, it takes a couple seconds, but now I'll be able to move that bird anywhere I want. So that's how you can also move it in front of text or behind text. So that's a little bit of advanced, but it also can help you add some depth to your image. And I'm just undoing so I don't. Because this is actually my book cover file. Now, there was something else. Oh, you can create a brand kit in Canva. This is for Pro. So I also have the Pro version, but you can create your own brand kit, which will have your fonts and your colors. So that way you can create multiple ones, like create new brand kit. So that way you can have, if you know you want this particular font choice for all of this, series, then you can have that, and you can also have the colors that you want, and you can have specific hex codes. Like Corey had shared that, or Cody had shared that in the chat about coolers, I think it was, where you can create a custom color palette. That'll give you hex codes that you can put in the brand kit. So anytime you want to change a color to adjust, let me go to the font because that'll be easier. You can pick the actual hex code by clicking on the plus and then put that in there. So if you have specific color codes that you want to use, then that's how you can add the specific hex
And
code.
you can also use the little, will you go back to what you're doing, Teresa? Right where you were with the colors and the hex code?
Yeah.
You can use the little dropper right there to, like, you can hit dropper and then you can put it on the color that you want and it'll find the color for you. So like if you click on that dropper and then put it on one of the pinks in your cover, it'll take you right to that pink.
Yep. Yeah, so I changed it to purple and we'll go with that one. So it changes the travel to whatever that color is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty. I'll go back. What else was I going to share? Oh, another reason to get Pro, especially if you want to do book covers, is when you're exporting, then when you share it and you download, one of the options is PDF. There's PDF standard and PDF print. PDF print, you typically want to use CMYK. That's a Pro version only. Because CMYK is a standard for Pro printing. So that's another reason to go with the Pro version.
Teresa, can you show them the background remover real quick too?
Oh, yeah. So background remover.
Be the last thing that we showed today.
Yeah. That just removed the background. So you just click it. Yeah, there's not really
like if you pop an image in this real quick, just any image, and then do the background remover, they can just see how it looks when it removes the background, or how what that's capable of.
So just popped an image in and it just removes the background. So now you can move this little steamboat wherever you want. That's pretty cool. My short story that I just finished is set on a steamboat. So, awesome. Yeah, it's just play around with it. Bernadette, you were asking about the mock-ups. I also have been using BookBrush. You can do mock-ups in Canva. I think if you just search for mock-ups, oh, look, book mock-ups comes up. And it gives you all these options, so you can choose a graphic. We'll choose this one. And then you can position your image on top of it. This isn't as easy to use as BookBrush. BookBrush, I think it's up to $1.99 a year now. Because I was going to cancel it because I just got Easy Cover Creator. And they said, if you renew your legacy at $89, but I don't know. So you can just look up book mock-ups in Canva. There's also free book, if you just Google free book mock-up tool, then it'll bring up different places that you can use. So.
Oh, thank you for that, Teresa. You may have just saved me a bunch of money, because that's the only thing I was using BookBrush for, was the book mock-ups.
Well, and that's why I canceled it, because the Easy Book Cover Creator right now is on sale for, I think it's $49 lifetime. And so I thought, I'm going to go ahead and get it and just play around with it and see because it does book mock-ups as well. But you can do it in Canva.
Teresa, do you mind dropping the link for that Easy Book Cover?
Yeah, Easy Cover.
And Bernadette, go ahead, and that will be the last question that we'll have today, or the last comment.
Okay, yeah. Destiny and I played around with that on Canva for a long time. We could not, for the life of us, figure out how to adjust the image to fit on the mock-ups.
Yeah, I think
So,
from what I just saw, it looks like it has like it you cannot do that. That I'm surprised to see that they don't offer that, but it looks from what
There
I
are there are some if you search for frames. So one of the items that's on the left is frames. Search for frame or under elements, search for frames and see book cover frame.
but it won't 3D it, right? It won't turn it
It will. They do have some frames, but then you can just drag the image onto it and it'll automatically resize it.
see, because we tried that and it wouldn't position it right. It would basically just put the image itself over that and then cut off the parts that went over the borders.
Maybe next week we can examine for 2-3 minutes one of these online free book mockups companies. They existed years ago, so they should exist now as well. Thank you, Bernadette, for that question. So this has been super useful, Teresa and Corey. I think that your control, your ability to navigate there is quite enviable. I'm looking at that and I'm like, whoa, you're so smooth. And I think that that's great. And thank you so much for taking the time and sharing this with us. I would love to see in future sessions. This was useful, guys, right? Yeah.
Very, thank you.
I would love to see in future sessions whether we can also do more spotlights in which people will be sharing some of the tools that they've been using, as well as maybe we'll even bring guest speakers. There's this one guy that I've eyed called David Shearer, spoke about Facebook ads. I would love to have him. He was so knowledgeable. So some stuff like that. Go ahead, Teresa.
I can't believe I almost forgot this. I'm actually on a Zoom with Oriana at Kickstarter on Monday about submitting the panel for Author Nation for next year. She said absolutely she would moderate. So if you guys have any questions, send them in WhatsApp or what you think you'd want to talk about. Because and Adrienne and others who didn't see the WhatsApp message, I had an idea that I could submit a panel basically about this group, what we do every week. Because Oriana was very excited about it and she gave us a shout out. And so I just sent her an email saying, hey, I've got this idea about doing a Kickstarter Mastermind panel at Author Nation. Would you be interested in moderating? She said yes. So we're talking on Monday. So if you've got ideas and are interested in being part of that, just put in WhatsApp or I guess reply to one of the group emails and let me know. But I'm talking with her at 12:30 Central Monday. So if you can, sorry, I almost forgot.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Well done. Thank you. And that's so exciting to have that panel. So Adrienne and Zachary, what we usually do is that we go through a round of about each person taking about 20 seconds, sharing what we are committing to for next week, so we can hold each other accountable. And also, I shared a link to the WhatsApp group in the chat. And if you guys don't mind pasting in the chat your email and phone number, Adrienne and Zachary. So I'm committing to getting that Gantt, getting that yearly, plan for Kickstarter for next year. And that is me. We're going to try and go more or less in the same order that we went before. So Destiny, then Cody, then Christina, then Corey, then Rachel, then Teresa, then Bernadette, then Adrienne, and finally Zachary. You have each 20 seconds to share what you're going to do until next week.
John, can I ask real quick, are we meeting next week? Because it's the day after Thanksgiving.
That's a great question.
I can't be here.
That's a great question.
No.
It's going to be 2 weeks. That's what I meant. So
and it's always this time?
Yes, exactly this time. 2 weeks exactly from today. So Destiny, go, Cody, and then the rest according to the order that I shared.
Help find a free website Métis saying for Bernadette so we can get a domain.
Great, thank you, Cody.
I will let you know what I want to do about the cover for my Kickstarter.
Sure. Christina?
I'm gonna unpublish and republish my first novel in the series, and Vicky and I are gonna get our pre-launch page up on Amazon.
Yay. Corey?
I'm going to finish the book that I'm writing right now, and I'm going to get a good chunk of my Kickstarter things sent out.
Great. Rachel?
I am going to take 2 days off. Like next weekend will actually be a weekend off. And I am also going to I'm working with someone on doing a mock-up of some like edge decorations. So I'm hoping to have an answer as to whether or not I will be able to do edge decorations. So
Oh, great. So exciting. Do share with us. Teresa?
When I'll have completed all the fulfillment of my Kickstarter tomorrow because I'll be shipping out the hardcovers. But before, what I'm going to do, I got Inez Johnson's Page Turner Planning. I backed the Kickstarter, so this came in, and I'm going to be going through this, and I will fill you guys in on what's in it. It's a week by week, basically building your author career planner. So this just came in today, so that's by the time we meet in 2 weeks, then I will have gone through it, and I'll fill you in and let you know what I think.
Super. Well done. Bernadette?
Get my first 2 books up on Amazon, preferably all 4. And basically nag people to follow me, follow my author page, Bernadette O'Leary Malcolm on Facebook, and follow my Kickstarter page. Not only that, but share it with your friends. Bug the hell out of them.
That's great. Thank you so much. Adrienne?
I'm gonna back people, so because they say the best way to learn is to back. So I know Rachel, you have one, and Bernadette, is yours live? I don't know. If you want to put it in the link.
Yeah, if you look in the chat, I put 2 different links actually. It's in for the Kickstarter one, it's in pre-launch right now. I'm hoping to have the actual launch done no later than December 1st. But if you follow me, then you'll know when it happens.
Right.
Great. And last but not least, Zachary?
Yeah, by the time for 2 weeks, I'll have my pre-launch page up and published. I have a couple of graphics to clean up until then. I'll find probably 3 or 4 campaigns to back, and then I need to finish a prequel short story that will be available to backers.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you guys, everyone. See you December 5th, same time as today. And a special thank you to Teresa and Corey for being so kind, so generous with your knowledge.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
Bye. Have a happy holiday.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy friends.
happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm trying to copy and paste something out of the chat here.
Perfect. I'm off to the next meeting. So good to see you, Bernard.
Bye-bye.